All right, with this West 2 Facebook Live update, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi bringing you the very latest now on ETA and what we are anticipating here across South and Central Florida as we go through the next couple of days. This storm is not going to be in any rush to leave Floridians alone. Trust me on that. Let me go ahead and show you the satellite loop. Doesn't look that impressive. But all of a sudden here, you can see a little bit of development along the eastern side of this very impressive cluster of showers and storms. So that's one of the things that's beginning to catch my eye. Jeff Neighbors, Patty Brennan, Nikki Lachatz, Shay Ray, Yuri Sanchez, Carla Dean, Bruce, good to have you guys, Rosa, AJ, James, Francis Keegan, Anna Marie, Tracy Bosch, Yasmin, Diane, Heidi, Dominique, Bonnie Bloke, Lowenstein, Tina, MB, good group in here. Love you guys. Thanks for popping in. Again, Brevard County Schools, in an abundance of caution, has decided to shut down classes for our students on Monday because of the storm. Just FYI, just want to give you guys a heads up on that, just so everybody's in the know. Let me show you the latest track. You can see a nice little blow up of thunderstorms on the southeast side. That is let me give you the wider shot first here. And there's a look there at what is currently going on. And I'm going to load in the wide perspective first so you can see how it's kind of zigzagging around and doing some really funny stuff. So right now it looks like it's moving northwest, if not even my west-northwest. Mary Lewis, Melissa, Linda, Sammy Joy, good to have you guys. Appreciate you all popping on in. So it's going to move west. We think as it gets over the loop current there briefly in the southeastern Gulf, it may actually have a chance to strengthen even a little bit more. And then as it moves north, if it even does that, because not all the models are in agreement on that, then it may come back. There's two camps, one camp coming back towards the northwest nook of our viewership here in Central Florida, and then the other is actually going south and west, and I'll show you the differences here in a second. But I wanted to show you what's going on down south. Lindsay, Kathy, Diane, Laura, good to have you. There's the center of circulation. That's not an eye, although it looks like one. It's just the center of circulation. You can see the deeper thunderstorms now getting going. We will have the county by county stuff for you here in a second. Let me just kind of walk everybody through what's going on right now. But you can see the winds down south, clearly over tropical storm force right now in Miami. And that is going to be approaching the Keys here overnight tonight. And then even in our area, we've already had a gust in and around Barefoot Bay of 48 miles an hour. So we're starting to get into some of the gustier tropical downpours. There's a live look in there. There's a look at Melbourne, and you can see that we have some squally weather. And when those squalls kind of come on in, that's when the intensity begins to pick on up. All right, let me do a couple of different things here. I'm going to add a couple of new images here. Just give me 1 second. All right, so I like to show the models and the cones sometimes, just so you can kind of get a handle on what everybody's thinking and how it relates to the cones. Sometimes it's a pretty important thing to do. Notice how through Tuesday, outside of the HMON, the HMNI, we got really good agreement. And then you can see through Wednesday, most of the models lifting back to the north. Then there's Thursday, and then Friday. Start to get a little bit of a difference there. The AVN and the HMON go south. A few models come our way. So again, there's not 100% certainty on all of the models as to where this is going to go in the next 72 to 84 hours. West, southwest, then north, and then from there it kind of gets discombobulated. When you take a look at the intensity forecast here, you'll see that most of the intensity forecasts are a tropical storm force to near hurricane force. So I want to make that very clear. Not seeing anything that says it screams anything significant like a Cat 3 or anything like that. So that's good news. That's what we want to see here. And there's a look at the latest intensity forecast. Now, when we take a look at the hurricane warnings, we do have those. Florida Keys, South Florida. Hurricane watches up for the southwest tip there of Florida. And then when it goes to the tropical storm advisories, you can see right there, all the way up towards Brevard County. So that's what we're looking at, from Brevard County to watches just south of the Tampa Bay area. There is storm surge watches up down across South Florida. But for me, as we now begin to break down what's going to be happening here, again, the local impacts are going to be at their greatest tonight and Monday, and then potentially Thursday, as some of the models indicate for this thing to come back at us, and that's one of the things we're going to watch. So for me, coastal concerns by far and away the biggest threat, the biggest concern. Rainfall could be briefly and locally very heavy, and when you get underneath these big tropical downpours, sometimes you can get the tropical storm force gust, and we've already had that happen once tonight. So again, when you get into these bands that I'm about to show you, two things can happen. Number one, you get a flood warning, and number two, you run the risk, in this case down here, for an isolated tornado, water spout, and strong gusty winds. I don't know if you guys saw this earlier when I came in. We're at 37 now in Miami. That's some pretty good wind. And in here in Central Florida, you know, we're at 33. So there's a good deal of wind, and it's going to pick up overnight tonight as the heavier stuff from down south begins to lift back to the north. Now, let's talk about, again, some of the concerns here. Emily West, good to have you there. Thank you for popping in. You're welcome. Hola to you, Jessica. Don't forget my motto, sharing is caring. The more people we can reach by you guys sharing these Facebook Live feeds, the more people we can put in the weather know. Now, 10 to 13 foot breaking waves. That's not the seas. That's the breaking waves. Offshore, we're talking 15 to 20 feet. So again, that's incredibly dangerous and rough surf. And then when you take a look at the breaking waves here, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it takes time for that action to wind down. Jeanette Walker, good to have you. Colleen, Erica Wynn, good to have you guys. I want to show you the rainfall forecast. And this is a long duration event. It's not just tonight and tomorrow, especially if this storm system tries to come back our way. This rain is going to add up. You take a look at Brevard County, 3 to 5 inches of rain. Orange County, 2 to 3 inches of rain. Up towards the villages in Leesburg, 1 to 2 inches of rain. Boca's in the house. Fred, good to have you there. Now, let's talk about the wind, hour-by-hour winds here. Again, if you're just getting in, Brevard County schools have said because of the high winds expected in gusts, it's not good for our buses. We're going to have an abundance of caution. Give the kids the day off in Brevard County because of the active weather that is going to be moving in. So there we go. So that's a look at that. Ocala, as we tie this out here, boom. There we go. So there it is. 50 mile an hour wind gusts. There we go. 30 in Claremont, 43 in Titusville. So again, that's midnight, just after midnight. Then watch what happens here. We get you on into sunrise, tropical storm force along the coast. Then we push inland 10, 11, 12, gusty winds here. That band lifts to the north, 2, 3 o'clock, Marion County, Flagler County, Volusia County, up towards the land. So that's a look at that. And as far as the risk for severe weather goes, again, for me, it is, let me just change this. This should be tonight and Monday. Give me 1 sec. There we go. My bad. Right there. I thought I made that change there earlier. But so there it is. South Florida, from Stewart to Fort Myers, an isolated tornado. Not across South Florida where there's a slight risk. There's a scattered chance for a couple tornadoes. So again, that's where the greatest threat is, not here. So let's break this down county by county. One of the favorite graphics of our viewers through your input is a look at what we expect county by county. And so we've kind of broken it down into three regions. I-75, including the turnpike into Lake County. Worst weather is going to be tonight on into Monday. Sustained winds tonight and tomorrow, 15 to 25, but gusts 25 to 35. And I wouldn't even rule out an isolated 40-mile-an-hour wind gust if some of those heavier bands are able to come up into central Florida. So that's one of the things we're going to watch. 5-day rain total, again here, about 1 to 3 inches of rain. Then we take a look at the I-4 corridor, including Sanford, Longwood, Apopka, Ocoee, over towards Disney, Celebration, Kissimmee, Lake Hart. You're looking at winds sustained 15 to 25 and gusts 25 to 40. So there we go. There's 5-day rainfall, 2 to 4 inches of rain. There you go. Power outages are possible in some of these higher gusts. Northwestern Osceola County, up and around Celebration, looking at about 2 to 3 inches of rain in some of the heavier bands. You might even get even wetter than that. So we'll have to wait and see if flood advisories or watches are needed as we go through the next 24 hours. So there we go. Can it come? Emily, I don't think that's going to happen. Of course, we'll continue to watch it. I'll explain why here in a second. Coastal areas, Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, Titusville, Melbourne, winds 25 to 35, gusts 35 to 50, 5-day rainfall total 2 to 5 through Brevard, but 1 to 3 for Palm Coast, and then 2 to 4-ish for Daytona Beach. Anita Hull, good to hear you. Good to have you. Kevin Sola, good to have you there. E West, you're welcome. So that is, look at that. Now I want to show you the water vapor channel here, because this is I want to show you, kind of explain what's going on here. So we've got this big high over here, and then we've got this upper low. So when you look at all the elements here that we have, so you've kind of got this flow in here, an upper low there, and you got a big high that's in here. So this is trying to steer this south and west, and then this upper low in here is also pulling it back to the west. So there's a lot of little different things going on in here. So what's going to happen is this is going to do something like this. Either that, and in some cases, some models are going out like that. So there's a lot to watch here. Let me kind of show you the loop. This is kind of a neat little perspective. Again, this is not a hurricane eye, even though it looks like it. It is a center of circulation that is pretty stout, but you can see the storms developing on the eastern side. On the western side, we've got that drier air. And for me, what I think is going on here is that this drier air is actually helping to, for the time being, keep our storm in check. See this right here? This drier air is working on in. And then tropical systems do not like when dry air intrudes on this. That doesn't bode well for them. Now let's take a look at the wave action here. Kind of clear this up. This is another reason why we want folks to be extra super careful along the coast, is because we have incredible wave action right now through these parts here in our viewing area. Right there, look at that. So 16-foot waves. Near shore breakers again are also fairly impressive. We take a look at the satellite loop, and one of the things that we're noticing here over the last half hour is a little burst of energy now on that north and their east side. So this is an area that's going to get a lot of rain, and there will be an increasing risk here the next hour or two for tornadoes across southeast Florida. In fact, I want to show you the Miami radar. There we go. There we go. There's a look at that. So there's your circulation right in there, and then this is a pretty big feeder band that's coming on in, and you can see here near Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, over towards Allentown. We got a flood warning in effect until 12:45. There we go. So there it is. Allentown, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, Alligator Alley. That's some pretty good wedge there of some moderate to heavy rain. That's just going to feed back towards Naples as we get deeper into the evening. So that's what's going on right there. Heavy rainfall. Yep, there we go. So that's a look at that. All right, now I got a couple of other graphics here I do want to show you. One of the things we like to do, or that I like to do, is kind of show you the differences amongst the models. Here's a look at the Euro and the GFS. Pretty good agreement going off to the west. GFS and the Euro, pretty good agreement. The Euro is still a little bit stronger than the GFS, but once it gets into the northeastern Gulf, the winds upstairs are not friendly, meaning that they want to kind of rip apart our storm system, which is a good thing for us. We don't want this thing to intensify and become something even stronger. So that to me is a good thing. And it's a part of the reason why when you take a look at the long-range forecast, that the models do not want to make this a hurricane or a very strong tropical storm down the road. Now, the other thing, too, is you check this out. The probability of tropical storm force winds down south, 90 to 100%. And then notice how when it curves back, it starts to fill it up north. In fact, it gives it a 20% chance for tropical storm force winds by Friday in the northern and the northwestern portions of our viewing area. So again, once it goes west, we get a day or two break, and then by the time we get to Thursday or Friday, we may again have some issues. So we might get a 1-2 punch out of this storm. Here's a different way of showing the winds. As of right now, we do have tropical storm force winds sustained from Stewart on south. And then as we go through the overnight into the morning, we may get them sustained through southern Brevard, Osceola, and Polk County before it kind of tails off to the west and then tries to come back to the north. So that's going to be something that we're going to be watching Wednesday on into Thursday. So a lot of moving parts here. Again, the bottom line with ease that we can definitely say there's going to be some good rain and there's going to be some gusty winds. In fact, you take a look at the winds right now, and I'll go ahead and show you a few of them. Let me grab these are the sustained winds here at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock, anywhere from 5 to 6 in Ocala to 25 sustained in Melbourne. Then you take a look at the gusts, and look at that. 30 to 35 in Brevard, Orlando's International Airport, a gust of 31. And the storm is still working by towards our south and trying to lift to the north. Because of the winds now and the rain, we've kind of put these yellow impact icons, meaning that we think that the wind and the rain will make driving hazardous. It's going to impact what you do. And in fact, the folks in Brevard County have, again, canceled classes for the public schools there on Monday out of an abundance of caution because of these tropical storm force winds and wind gusts. So that's I love that call. I think it's the right call. It's a smart call. When we take a look at our RPM model here, notice what it does. It comes across South Florida and the Keys, and then works south and west. Lindsay, that is going to happen, at least briefly anyway. But look at where Futurecast is going. It's going down almost back to the Yucatan Peninsula. I mean, that's crazy. So we'll have to wait and see just how far south it goes, and then we'll go from there. We have had winds much higher than normal storms. Eleanor, where you at, by the way? Then we'll get into Thursday. Yep, Tiburon, that is correct. So that's a look at that. Another way to do it is this is the European solution. So I've got so many graphics in here. There's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, and then there's Thursday morning coming back into central Florida up towards Jacksonville. So again, a couple of days of rain, a couple of days of wind. Again, for tonight and Monday, impacts expected down south, impacts likely here across central Florida, impacts possible up north, and then we'll have to readjust this again once we get you into Wednesday night and Thursday. Osceola, you're gonna have some wind. You're gonna know something's going on. We're not, worried about a hurricane or anything like that. But, what I did before I came was I took my pool patio furniture in, just to play it safe, just because I didn't want anything going through my lanai screens. This is the Euro. Euro's got 50-mile-an-hour wind gust at midnight in Brevard County. The Euro brings the core of the heaviest winds through Orange, Seminole, Lake between about 9 and about noon. Then it shifts up to the north. Now the GFS winds are just a little bit lower. Still pretty close though. 40 to 45 in Brevard, 35, 40-ish in Orlando, 40 in Daytona Beach. So again, just a scotch lower, but still pretty impressive. And then the rain. Amy Phillips, good to have you. There you go. So rainfall through Friday with the GFS has this coming in at 2 to 5 inches in Brevard, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 in Orange County. A lot going on. Regina Flanagan, good to have you there. Elizabeth Rains also. No, your husband should not be panicking. Absolutely not. Nope. This is not a storm to panic on. This is a storm that you get wind, you get rain, and you do need to watch and be careful for some nuisance flooding and stuff like that. But again, the worst weather I believe is going to be tonight, overnight tonight, and during the day tomorrow. Tori Dale asked me a good question. Why would the worst weather be tonight and Thursday if the storm's going to come back? Well, because we think that the storm, when it comes back, is not going to be as strong. So it's a good question, Tori. Appreciate your great question. So feeding off the warm weather here between the Straits and the southeast, the loop current there. But as it starts to come back to the north, if the models are correct, we think there's going to be more dry air and even stronger wind shear that should begin to take its toll on this particular feature. So that's what we're hoping for, Tori. And I do appreciate your most excellent question, by the way. Nancy wants to know, are there more systems in the Atlantic? I didn't want to bring it up, but yes, there are. Let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to pop up this here for you. So when we wadded out this view, we do have another feature here. This one may become another feature. And then this wave here down the road may try to develop in the Caribbean, but likely go west, something we're going to watch. So really, this is the name of the game now. I'm not worried about that. Yes, it may take on a name. And remember, the next named storm means we break the record of the most storms in one hurricane season ever. You take a look at the comparison, 2005 versus 20. In 2005, we had 28 named storms. ETA became the 28th named storm. Feel pretty good about us breaking that record. Just hope nothing comes back our way. 7-day forecast here, real quick. Again, just to kind of keep you guys on the beaten path here. Again, yellow impact icon because of the weather, the wind, making things a bit rough. Could impact your outdoor plans. Not the best of days to be outside. Tropics could be hanging around for a couple of days, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we do begin to improve. So some better news there. By the way, Wednesday is Veterans Day, and for our veterans that may be in here, thank you for your service. We salute you, and we certainly honor you for all you've done for this beautiful country. So there's Miami. Here's local. And again, the energy is beginning to come up. That yellow area right there, that is the wind field over the cone. Sometimes we like to show how the wind field looks and does with regards to the cone, and then sometimes we take the cone off, and you can see here that the tropical storm force sustained winds are now right over Lake Okeechobee, and there's a little bit of red area in there. That is approaching the Florida Keys. So that's what we have right there. So just a kind of a different way to show things. There's a lot of elements in there. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with a look at the 7-day. We'll be back. I'll be back on at 10 on the CW18, and then of course after the big Bucks and New Orleans Saints game, we'll be back on to give you an update on what to expect overnight tonight. Great group, great questions. Thank you for your thoughts, your words, your concerns. This is why we do Facebook Live. In times like this, reduce your stress, get you guys to share these feeds, follow the page, like the page, so that we can always keep you in the weather. We know you guys have active lifestyles. Sometimes you can't always watch the traditional newscast, and you're on your son's or daughter's soccer match, baseball game, and maybe you're looking at the weather update for me on your phone. So that's why we tend to do these. We like to do these, and we've gotten some really good feedback from you guys. We do appreciate that. All right, guys, see you tonight at 10 on the CW18, and again after the football game. Good group. Stay safe, and we'll talk soon. See you.